Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And did you know that your actual eyeball is really a cybersecurity and privacy threat to you? And here's what's going on. I found this absolutely fascinating. This is coming from the BBC by way of Japanese media, and I've got a lot of notes here. Now, a Japanese man is accused of stalking and assaulting a Japanese pop star, and he basically told the police that he located her through the reflection in her eyes in a picture. Now, this is coming from Japanese media. Now, this individual, his name is Hibiki Sato, said that he identified a train station reflected in the singer's eyes in a selfie that she posted online. After zooming in on the image, he basically used Google Street View to identify the train station that she was at, meaning obviously this is probably pretty close to her home. Now, he also said that he studied videos of the woman, of basically the apartment that she was living in as she was taking selfies, and he was studying the background, and I quote, looking at details such as the placement of curtains and the direction of natural light coming through the window to try to determine exactly which floor she lived on. At some point on September 1st, he was able to positively identify all of this, follow her back to her apartment and assault her. He's obviously been arrested, and here we are. But that underscores a point that we've seen over the last year or so, is that camera resolution on mobile phones is getting so good that we are able to identify things like fingerprints, and you notice I'm doing this and not the other way around, and maybe you got a screenshot of that. But we are now seeing reflection in eyeballs that are literally so good that we can zoom in and enhance to get an understanding of where that person is. Our eyeballs obviously reflect a lot of information. Now, obviously, this speaks to a lot of different things, including privacy, cybersecurity. How do we actually have some kind of, let's say, artificial intelligence in our cameras that, let's say, obfuscates the retinas in our eyes so that they're not actually reflecting something. Same with fingerprints and all of that. But it also speaks, I think, to a culture where we have to take selfies of ourselves all the time. We have to take pictures of ourselves, in some way, shape, or form. And by virtue of that, we are identifying the things around us. Prior to this, it was also metadata. A lot of phones early on by default would not remove metadata information, and people could download the image and get metadata things like GPS tagging and all of that. And fortunately, we're starting to basically get rid of that or safeguard that in more specific ways. The latest versions of iPhone and Android, for example, remove that metadata, but here we are. They're not exactly removing our eyeballs, and if you look into the reflection of my eyeballs, if you pause this video and zoom in, I'm sure you'll see me looking at me in a camera, etc., etc. But where does it end and where does it begin? Because cameras are only going to get better. One of the few things that every phone maker makes, from LG, to Samsung to Apple, etc., is every generation of phone gets a better camera, gets a sharper camera, and all of that. And so how do we combat that? What is the AI that we integrate? Is there an app that we can eventually download? Is this something that Apple and Samsung, etc., are going to respond to and integrate natively into their phones? Or is this just, the tip of the iceberg? And here we go. So I'm curious to know what you think about this, but your eyeballs could potentially get you in trouble, especially if you're a pop star and especially if you have followers. So heads up to you. This is the next wave of privacy issues that we're going to face. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And thanks for watching me here, and please subscribe on YouTube. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.